That's enough, thank you.
Comes as natural to us as breathing. As natural to us as breathing. We are great workers for the cause, willing helpers in the mission field. We do everything we can do. We send Afghans to the Hindu. We are great workers for the cause. We're collecting undershirts and drawers for to keep the naked pagans warm. When your children get too big, we send their undies to a pygmy. We are all great workers for the...
Oh, look! It's Matthew Cuthbert driving a buggy, dressed like he was going to a funeral.
Matthew Cuthbert? Driving a buggy?
In his Sunday suit?
And on a Tuesday? Why isn't he at home bugging his potatoes?
Yoo-hoo! Matthew! Where are you off to?
He didn't say.
Matthew never does. That's the truth.
Where is Matthew going and why is he going there? Matthew Cuthbert never goes anywhere. He's wearing his clean white collar, he's wearing his store suit.
Let's get us a ring and follow.
Don't be silly. Don't be sassy.
Don't be cute.
Where do you suppose he's going? He's hitched up a Sunday seed.
He should be home a-sowing turnip seed.
It must be a fearful task then, it must be something bad.
Why don't we all go and ask them?
Are you balmy? Are you batty?
Are you mad?
It was bad, he cried much soon. It was nothing, he cried so.
I'd better go ask his sister.
Marilla, be sure to know. You'd better go ask Marilla, you'd better go pay a call.
I'll borrow a drop of vanilla and act sort of dumb and dull.
You can talk about the weather, then ask her all at once.
Why don't we all go together?
We're no snoopers. We're no gossips.
Oh, you dunce.
Good afternoon, ladies.
I'm late. Marilla Cuthbert, we thought you'd gone to meet your maker when we saw your brother drive by dressed in his Sunday suit.
And on a Tuesday.
Matthew Cuthbert's so shy he's never moved farther than from the house to the barn.
Matthew's gone to Bright River to meet the train.
The train?
We're adopting a little boy from the orphanage in Nova Scotia.
Well, you're never through with surprises till you're dead.
We've been thinking about it since last harvest, when Matthew had his heart attack. You know how desperate hard it's got to get good help these days. And when Mrs. Alex Spencer told us that she had decided to adopt a little girl, we decided to ask her to pick us out a boy while she was there. Old enough to help with the heavy work, but young enough to be trained up proper.
But Marilla, you really don't know what you are getting.
Don't say I didn't warn you if this imported orphan put strychnine in the well and burned your house to the ground. I heard of an orphan over in Nova Scotia did just that, and the whole family died in fearful agonies. As I recall, it was a girl in that instance.
Well, you can stop your worrying on our account, Rachel. We're not getting a girl.
Well, I think it's a mighty risky thing you're doing, that's what.
There's risks in people having children of their own when it comes to that.
Oh, well, it's hardly a risk in the case of you and your brother.
Our meeting can continue. Now we found out just where that Matthew's going.
If you're looking for the 5:30 train, it's been and gone.
Oh.
Half an hour ago.
But it's only 20 past 5.
If you're looking for the station master, he told me to tell you he's gone home.
He told you to tell me?
I suppose you are Mr. Matthew Cuthbert. Mrs. Spencer told me what you look like. I was beginning to be afraid you weren't coming for me. The station master said the train was early because they had a new engineer on, and he wasn't very experienced.
There must be some mistake.
Yes. He said usually the 5:30 train is half an hour late, regular as clockwork. If you hadn't come for me, I was going to walk down that track to that big wild cherry tree. Do you see it?
Oh, yes.
And I was going to climb into that beautiful tree and stay all night. Wouldn't that be lovely? Am I talking too much? People are always telling me that I do. Mrs. Spencer said my tongue must be hung in the middle, it flaps so. If you say so, I'll stop. I can stop, although it's awfully difficult.
No, you can talk all you want. I don't mind.
Oh, I'm so glad. It seems so wonderful that I'm going to live with you and belong to you.
I'll let Marilla do it.
I beg your pardon?
Oh, here, please let me help you with your bag.
Oh, I can carry it. It isn't heavy. It's an excruciatingly old bag. Thank goodness I'll never have to use it again. Mr. Cuthbert, what would you rather be if you had your choice? Divinely beautiful, or dazzlingly clever, or angelically good?
Well, now, I don't rightly know.
Oh, neither do I. But it would be nice to think you had the choice. Once I thought I'd like to be a blossom growing on a tree, white and pink and lazy as can be. But I'd be king just in the spring, so now I think it over. Gee, I'm glad I know one else but me. If you sit around and find the world is gloomy, and it isn't just your cup of tea, it's easy to imagine that it's rose and gloomy. You can think the things you want to be. So when all is said and done, imagining's a lot of fun. But when there are battles to be won, be what you are, it's best by far, and soon you'll be in clover. Gee, I'm glad I know one else but me. Mr. Cuthbert, Mr. Cuthbert!
Oh, Pearl.
Your roads! They're red. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Well, don't you like them?
Mr. Cuthbert, what color would you say this is?
Why, it's red, ain't it?
Yes, red hair and freckles have been my lifelong sorrow. But why are your roads red?
Well, now, I remember a fella telling me once it was the iron in the soil getting rusty. But I don't suppose he could have meant it.
Do you suppose that it could be the wounds of tragic destiny dripping from a bloodstained family tree? An evil spell that did compel the founders of this island to meet their doom and perish horribly. Picture now the vicious strife that started raging way back in the olden days of yore. It's family with family in feuds engaging, drenching all your local soil with gore. There, as far as I can see, I've just cleared up the mystery for why your roads are red perpetually.
The answer's found not in the ground, in your imagination.
Gee, I'm glad I'm no one else. Gee, I'm glad I'm no one else. Gee, I'm glad I'm no one else but me.
Now you go right on in.
Matthew?
Yes, Marilla.
Why, Matthew Cuthbert.
Yes?
Who's that?
Hey?
Where's the boy?
Well, there wasn't any boy, there was just her.
We sent word to Mrs. Spencer to bring us a boy.
Well, she didn't. She brought her.
This is a pretty piece of business.
You don't want me. You don't want me because I'm not a boy. I might have known it.
I gotta go water the mirror.
Now, there's no need to cry so, child.
There is need. This is the most tragic thing that has ever happened to me.
Well, we're not going to throw you out of doors. Tonight, at any rate. Now, tell me, what's your name?
Could you call me Cordelia?
Call you Cordelia? Is that your name?
Well, no. It's not exactly my name. Actually, it's Anne. But whenever I'm in dire anguish, I've always imagined that my name was Cordelia. At least I always have of late years.
Fiddlesticks. If Anne is your name, that's what you should be called. It's a good, plain, sensible name, and you've no need to be ashamed of it.
Well, if you're going to call me Anne, could you at least call me Anne, spelt with an E?
What difference does it make how it's spelled?
Oh, but it looks so much nicer.
Very well, then. Anne with an E. Can you tell us how this mistake has occurred? We sent word to Mrs. Spencer to bring us a boy. Were there no boys in the orphanage?
Oh, yes, an abundance. But I distinctly heard Mrs. Spencer say that you wanted a girl, and the matron said she thought I do.
We have no use for a girl. We need a boy to help Matthew on the farm. Now, just take off your hat over there and help me with the table, and we'll have supper.
I couldn't eat. I'm in the depths of despair. Can you eat when you're in the depths of despair?
I don't know. I've never been there, so I really can't say.
She's tired, Marilla. Best put her to bed.
Very well, then, child. Bring your bag and come with me.
Good night.
How can you possibly say it's a good night when you must know this is the very worst night I've ever had? My life is a perfect graveyard of broken hopes.
What was that?
Oh, it's a sentence I read in a book once, and I say it to myself whenever I'm disappointed in anything.
You can sleep here.
Oh!
Mercy, child, what's the matter?
A tree of your very own. Imagine.
It's a big tree, and it blossoms great. But the cherries never amount to much. Small and wormy.
Snow Queen.
What?
I'll call the tree Snow Queen because it reminds me of a blinding vision.
You do have a tongue in your head. Now, I want you to get undressed.
I have my very best underwear on. The matron said you never know when you might get cut up in a train wreck.
I suppose you have a nightgown?
I have two.
They're rather flimsy. You'd best put them both on. And when you're undressed, I want you to say your prayers.
Oh, I never say any prayers.
Don't you know who God is?
The matron at the orphanage said God was the one who made my hair red, and I've never cared about him since.
I'm afraid you're a very wicked little girl to talk this way. This is a Christian house, and while you're in it, you will say your prayers.
After I'm in bed, I'll imagine out a nice prayer to say.
No, no, child. You must kneel beside your bed and pray to your Maker.
Okay, I'm ready. What do I say?
Now I lay me down to sleep. You must pray to the Lord in your own words, child.
I'll do my best. Gracious Heavenly Father, infinite, eternal, and unchangeable.
Mercy, what was that?
That's the way the minister at the orphanage used to do it.
Well, stop your chattering and get on with your prayers and in your own words.
Miss Cuthbert, even though I'm not going to stay here at Green Gables, I think I can make a much nicer prayer if I imagine that I am.
Never mind your imagining. Just thank him humbly for the blessings he has given.
That's where I need my imagination.
Dear God, thank you for the Snow Queen. I'm really extremely grateful for that. And that's the only blessing I can think of to thank you for right now. As for the things I want, it would take a great deal of time to mention them all. So I will only say the two most important. Please let me stay here at Green Gables. And please let me be good looking when I grow up. I remain, yours respectfully, Anne Shirley. There, I did it. Did I do all right?
Now go to sleep.
Oh, I just thought. I should have said amen in place of yours respectfully, the way the ministers do. Do you suppose it'll make a difference?
I don't suppose so. Now go to sleep. That's what comes from sending someone else and not going ourselves. One of us will have to drive over to the Spencers tomorrow, that's for certain. The child will have to go back to the orphanage.
Yes, I suppose so.
You suppose? You mean you don't know it?
Well, she's such an interesting little thing, Marilla. It'd be such a pity to send her back when she's so set on staying.
Matthew Cuthbert, you don't mean to say that you think we ought to keep her? What good would she be to us?
We might be some good to her.
I've never heard of such a thing. She will have to be dispatched straight away back to where she came from.
I could maybe hire a boy to help me with farm work and... Well, she'd be good company for you. She's such an interesting little thing.
I'm not suffering for company. I think that child has you bewitched. I can see plain as plain that you want to keep her.
You should have heard her talk coming from the station.
Oh, she can talk. I saw that straight away. And nothing in her credit either. I don't like children who have so much to say. I don't want an orphan girl. And if I did, she wouldn't be the style that I would pick out. We're not going to keep her. So you might as well save your breath to cool your porridge.
Well, it's just as you say, of course, Marilla.
Where are you gadding off to? We haven't had supper.
I don't suppose I'm hungry either.
How could Mrs. Spencer have made such a mistake? We clearly requested a boy.
A boy's what we wanted, I guess.
I guess that a girl's not so bad.
So badly we needed a boy. We clearly requested a boy.
They wanted
I guess that a girl's not so bad.
Badly we needed a boy.
The farm could look after itself.
selfish to think of
Myself, I am partial to
Boys.
boys.
A girl could help Marilla around the house.
A girl could bring alfalfa to the cows.
A boy can milk and carry in the pails.
Boys are made of snails and puppy dogs' tails.
A boy can plow, a boy can hay and hoe. A girl can only sit and knit and sew.
A boy is rough, but girls are still as mice.
Girls are made of spice.
Won't they think twice? She hates me because I'm
A
on
girl is alright, I
Declare that she'll have to go back,
go back.
go back, go back. We clearly
surprise. What brings you our way?
The fact is, Mrs. Spencer, that when we asked...
Is that little Anne sitting out there in the buggy? Isn't she the dear wee thing?
The fact is, Mrs. Spencer, that we sent word through your brother Robert to bring us a boy.
You don't tell me. Isn't that funny? How did that happen, I wonder? I'm dreadful sorry, Marilla. I thought I was following your instructions. Isn't it a funny predicament?
Well, the thing to do now is to put it right. The orphanage will take the child back.
Mrs. Peter Blewett, the very thing. I don't think we'll have to send the child back to Nova Scotia. You just come along with me right now. I always say it's an ill wind that doesn't blow somebody into town. Miss Marilla Cuthbert.
How do?
Mrs. Blewett.
And this dear little girl. You remember that little matter we spoke about last week?
She available?
Yes, and I'm sure you and she could become firm friends.
Ah, them kids. I keep them in the woodshed till feeding time. Here, you. Go stir the stew. All right, I'm coming up there and I'll will the daylights out of you.
The good Lord has seen fit to reward her labors. She's had twins 3 times in a row.
How many children in all?
7. No, 8.
She'd be a Roman Catholic?
No, Presbyterian.
How many years has she been married?
5 years, going on 6.
Funny kind of a Presbyterian.
Dinner's coming. Just sit out there and suck your fingers. All right, you. What's your name?
I'm the Lady Cordelia de Montmorency, abducted by gypsies when I was 3.
Anne? My name is Anne Shirley. Anne with an E.
That's better. Just the facts.
Tell her where you were born and who your folks were.
I was born in a palace in old Vienna, Danubian waltzes my lullabies, and my father was Johann with great mustaches, my mother Maria with emerald eyes.
Where did you say you was born?
My dear parents were rich and aristocratic, with 10 maids and butlers to bring you tea. And we'd ride in a carriage with 4 men on it, and all of them curtsied and bowed to me.
Enough of that, Anne.
If you're wondering how I got here, I was kidnapped by this buccaneer, who took me to France and taught me to dance in his gypsy hideout in Tangier. Yahoo!
Stop that this instant!
I never heard such nonsense in all my life.
I don't think the girl's all there.
That's certainly not what they told me at the orphanage.
We don't want no gypsies around here.
Whatever possessed that child?
Anne, where do you think you are?
And who do you think you are?
I'm the Lady Cordelia de Montmorency, abducted by gypsies when I was 3.
The facts, the facts, the facts. The plain, simple, homely, unembroidered
spelt with an E.
Parents deceased. Father, Walter Shirley, teacher of agriculture and rapid calculation at Bolingbroke Continuation School. Mother, Bertha Shirley, housewife.
I have to imagine what they look like. I was only 3 months old when they died.
Never mind that now, dear. You're going to have a new home now. What you lose on the sauce, you gain on the gander. Now, where was I? Temporary guardian, Mrs. Russell Thomas.
And her drunken husband.
Oh dear, that's not a nice thing to say.
Well, it wasn't a very nice thing to watch either. But then they sent me up the river.
Up the river?
To Mrs. Hammond and her 5 children.
Oh, good. Then you have experience.
Yes, I had, thank you. So I lived with the Thomases and the Hammonds. I lived with the family in Halifax, but none of them wanted me. So I went to the home for the orphans, and those are the facts.
Are you sure?
Yes, it's all written down here.
The plain, simple, homely, unembroidered facts.
All right, then. Turn around. Well, there ain't much to ya, but what there is wiry. I'll expect you to earn your keep. All right, Mrs. Spencer, I'll take her.
Oh, I don't know. I feel I oughtn't to make any decisions without consulting my brother. I'd best take the child home again and talk it over with him.
But I thought...
If we decide not to keep her, I'll bring her back tomorrow night. Will that suit you, Mrs. Blewett?
Well, I suppose it'll have to.
Well, we'll just leave it at that then. We'll just put off till tomorrow instead of burning our bridges today.
Morning, ladies. Morning, Cecil.
Morning, Earl. Any mail?
Nothing today, Cecil. Water's pretty choppy this morning. The mailboat couldn't make it across.
Isn't that a caution? The mainland's been cut off again.
Where did that buggy come from?
I don't know, but it's heading into the Cuthberts.
Where'd Marilla come from? She's coming up from the south. The horse's eyes are rolling, he's foaming at the mouth. Whoever it is she's racing, I can't see him for dust. She's driving to beat the devil.
Like a cyclone.
Like a whirlwind.
Fit to bust.
Where'd Marilla come from, and what did she have in there? Whatever it was had freckles and hanks of long red hair. She couldn't drive much faster, it must be something dire. Must be some disaster.
It's a robbery.
It's a fire.
It's a...
She's in trouble.
In a whirl.
It's an accident.
It's a girl.
Hang up your hat there, and you can help me with the table. Matthew will be in for chores any minute now.
Miss Cuthbert, won't you please tell me whether you're going to keep me or not? I tried to be patient all the way back in the buggy, but I really can't bear not knowing much longer.
Just help me with the table.
And then you'll tell me?
First, I want you to go to the shed out back and bring in some wood for the stove.
And that's when you'll tell me?
Hurry along, child, out to the woodshed. And not too big sticks, mind.
You're back.
So it would appear.
Well, I watered Pearl. She's having her oats now. We're getting a little low on oats. I should maybe head over to Carmody or White Sands and... Marilla? I really think that we should...
Matthew Cuthbert! What would Dr. Malcolm say? Have you not thought for your heart?
You tell old Malcolm my heart's never been better.
Sit down this minute before you get AIDS. Now stop it! The both of you. I have something to say. Though the Lord knows there's no need to put it into words. Matthew and I have decided to keep you. That is, if you try to be a good girl and help Matthew on the farm. Mercy, child, why are you crying?
I don't know why I'm crying. It's just that I'm so glad. Oh, glad doesn't seem to be the right word at all. It's much more than that.
Well, when you find the right word, we'll have supper.
Yoo-hoo!
I know who that is.
I saw you driving by in the buggy, so I thought I'd come over. Whatever happened to the boy?
Well, we changed his. We changed her. Well, we wanted a girl, so we got one.
And this is Mrs. Lynde come to see you. Isn't that nice of her?
Well, I could tell by the pigtails flying by in the buggy that you hadn't got what you expected. Well, well, well. They didn't pick you for your looks, that's sure and certain. Come over here. Let's have a look at you. Have you ever seen such freckles? And hair as red as carrots.
How dare you call me ugly and red-headed?
And
how would you like to have such things said about you? How would you like to be told that you're scrawny and dilapidated and probably had an effective imagination in you? Oh, I don't care if I've hurt your feelings. You've hurt mine worse than they've ever been hurt before. And I will never forgive you for it. Never. Never!
Whoa. Have you ever seen such a temper?
And you will apologize to Mrs. Lynde and ask her to forgive you.
I couldn't do that. I'm sorry I vexed you, Miss Cuthbert. But I'm glad I said what I just did. Gave me great satisfaction.
Well, you will go straight to your room and stay there until you are willing to apologize.
Oh, you've taken on quite a responsibility there, Marilla. I don't envy anyone having to bring that up.
You shouldn't have twitted her about her looks, Rachel.
Oh, don't tell me you're upholding that terrible display of temper.
I'm not trying to excuse her, but we must make allowances. She has not been taught what is right, and you were hard on her.
Oh, well, I can see I'll have to be careful what I say around here in the future, seeing that the fine feelings of orphans brought in from goodness knows wheres have to be given first consideration.
Rachel, you haven't had your tea. Now we'll just sit here and wait until she's willing to apologize.
Well, if you want my advice, me who's raised 10 children and buried 2, you won't wait for anything. You'll go outside right now and cut yourself a good-sized birch switch.
Where are you off to?
Well, I just thought I'd...
Go upstairs?
Well, yes.
You haven't been upstairs since you helped me paper the spare room 4 years ago.
Well, I know. I thought I'd just take a look at it.
Mind what the doctor said about climbing stairs.
Uh-huh.
Matthew Cuthbert, don't you go interfering. Perhaps an old maid doesn't know much about disciplining children, but I suppose she knows as much as an old bachelor.
Cup of tea, Matthew?
No. No, thank you. I think I'll go fill the cistern.
Well, Rachel, seeing as you're here, I might as well show you the patchwork pieces that I've been saving for the quilt that we're going to send to the Borneo headhunters.
Anne! Lady Cordelia de Montmorency. Don't you think you better get this thing off your chest and get it over with?
I couldn't do that, Matthew. You can lock me up in a damp dungeon with snakes and toads.
We're not in the habit of doing that. Now come on down here. Marilla's dreadful determined, you know. You're gonna have to get this thing off your chest sooner or later.
She had no right to call me ugly and red-headed.
I heard you say as much yourself only yesterday.
Oh, Matthew, there's a big difference between saying something yourself and hearing someone else say it.
Em, listen to me. Never mind how folks talk. Let them all strut and squawk. When they criticize, just pass them by. If they do, carpet you, don't get upset. Fuss, fume, or fret, or get indigestion. Critics can't bother me, 'cause I tell them I agree. When they're finding fault, I don't deny. You can do it if you try. You won't rue it, be like I keep happy eating humble pie. Humble pie, humble pie, we can eat it, you and I. Though the world around us may be proud. Never mind, you will find they have no fight.
If you're polite,
that's right,
and answer their questions
with a smile all the while, try to walk that second mile. Turn the other cheek against the crowd. You can do it if you try it. Why not try my steady diet? We'll be happy eating humble pie. That's very good. And can you do this one?
Yes.
And how about this one?
No! Matthew, what's going on out there?
Quick, back to bed. You can do it, just you try it. Why not try my steady diet? We'll be happy eating humble pie.
Mercy, child, what are you doing there?
I've been wrestling with my soul. And I think I'm ready to go and apologize to Mrs. Lynn now.
Very well, child. Come with me. Matthew?
Yes, Marilla?
Matthew, come in here. I want you to see what a little discipline can do.
Mrs. Lind, oh Mrs. Lind, you have been wronged and I have sinned. My very soul is so chagrined. I acted so undisciplined. please. My hopes are pinned on Mrs. Lind.
Very nicely done, dear.
My punishment was necessary. Upstairs, just now in solitary. I've a temper which is scary. I know I have, and I'll be wary. You'll find my conduct salutary. I don't deserve the human grace. Just make my headstone commonplace and print my name in lowercase without an E. Just leave a space. Please, Mrs. Lind, your rage rescind. Please, Mrs. Lind, I have sinned. Please, Mrs. Lind, I'm out of wind. Please, Mrs.
Now, Diana, when we arrive at Green Gables, we will wait outside, and Marilla will bring the girl to meet us.
Oh, Mother, I'm dying to see what she's like.
Remember, dear, this is a most unfortunate girl. She has neither a father nor a mother, so you mustn't flaunt your own too much. And it's not polite to talk to other children about things they themselves don't possess.
Good morning, Miss Barry. Diana, this is Anne. How are you, Anne?
I'm as well as can be expected, thank you.
Hello, Anne.
Oh, hello. You have a perfectly lovely name. Diana is my favorite heathen goddess.
Now, Diana is a very nice young lady, and her mother is very particular about who she associates with. Now, I don't want you making her late for school. Here's your note for Mr. Phillips. Mrs. Barry, may I slip over to your place and borrow that pattern that you were telling me about?
Certainly, Marilla. Mind you behave yourself now, Diana. Goodbye, dear.
Goodbye. Oh, Mother, do you suppose I could take Anne with me to the Sunday school picnic this Saturday?
Oh, a picnic!
I think that would be up to Miss Cuthbert to decide, dear.
May I, Marilla? May I? There's going to be all sorts of races with prizes, and we're going to make ice cream.
Oh, Marilla, they're going to make ice cream. What's that?
Oh, Anne, you're teasing.
I think if the child has never had a taste of it, this might be a good opportunity.
Well, I suppose if the rest of the parents are going along.
Everyone's going.
Well, then I don't see any harm in it. Oh, for heaven's sakes, child, hurry along. You'll be late for school.
We can go swimming at the picnic too, Anne. Tilly Bolter nearly got drowned last year.
Oh, it must be such a romantic experience to have nearly drowned.
Think of the homework gotta be done. Think of the spelling bee, that's fun. Think of the arithmetic on the slate. Think about recess, can't wait. School again, school again, school again.
Next, tall man Phillips.
carry on with the work I gave you yesterday.
Oh, don't bother Mr. Phillips now, Anne. He's busy.
But he doesn't know I'm here, Diana.
Oh, he doesn't know any of us are here. He spends all his time with that Prissy Andrews.
He's getting her ready to try for a scholarship. At least that's what he says he's doing.
But what are the rest of us supposed to do?
I'll finish up the work we didn't do yesterday.
But I wasn't here yesterday.
I know, you lucky thing. Why don't you draw something funny on your slate?
Gilbert Blythe, you dirty little...
All right, class, settle down and try to concentrate.
That boy teases Josie Pye something terrible, and she's dead gone on him. He's awfully handsome, isn't he? His name's Gilbert Blythe.
I think he's very bold. When does Mr. Phillips start teaching the rest of us?
As soon as he straightens up Prissy Andrews.
Hey, what are these? Carrots?
You mean, hateful boy! How dare you!
Who is this strange girl?
Aunt Shirley, sir. I'm new. I have a note.
And what does all this mean?
It was my fault, sir. I teased her.
Sit down, Blythe. I'm sorry to see a new pupil displaying such a vindictive spirit. What did you say your name was?
Aunt Shirley, sir. Anne with an E.
Class, repeat after me. Anne Shirley has a very bad temper.
Anne Shirley has a very bad temper.
Anne Shirley must control her temper.
Anne Shirley must control her temper.
Mr. Phillips, I'm sorry. She forgot the E.
You must learn to control your tongue as well as your temper. Class? No. You go sit next to Gilbert Blythe. Did you hear what I said?
Yes, but I didn't suppose you really meant it.
I assure you that I did. Obey me at once. Class, repeat after me. Anne Shirley has a very bad temper.
Anne Shirley has a very bad temper.
Anne Shirley must control her temper.
Anne Shirley must control her temper.
Our temper.
Moody Spurgeon McPherson, come here. Here, I say. What have you got in your mouth? Have you been chewing pine gum again?
No, sir. I've just been soaking a prune for recess.
Well, get rid of it. All right, it's time for recess, except for Blythe and the new girl. Gilbert, you can clean up the chalkboard. The rest of you, dismiss in an orderly fashion.
All at once I'm wondering what it's like to grow up and have someone show up who'll be awfully nice, and you'll be such a silly fool. She'll never look your way. Wondering, now they'll all be wondering, and they'll gab like parrots, 'cause I called her carrots. Wondering what it was that hit me, and blundering like I might be wondering if she might be wondering about me this way.
And I'm sorry your sleep got broken.
Wondering what it was that hit me, and blundering like I might be wondering if she might be wondering